genre.
Hello, and welcome back to The Doctor's Companion presents Doctor Who, The Long Way Round, the weekly podcast where we review and discuss every episode of Doctor Who, one doctor at a time. I'm Nick Jimenez.
I'm Scott Corelli.
And I'm Cass Fredrickson.
Today on the show, we'll be discussing The King's Demons, the 5th Doctor's 13th story, available now on Tubi.
Tubi.
To be or not to be?
To be or not to be? Yes, The King's Demons, which aired the 15th and 16th of March, 1983. This is the end of this season. What season are we on? 20? Season 20. Of course, season 20. Written by Terence Dudley, directed by Tony Virgo. So this one is a two-parter, which is you love to see it, Classico. And this was written by the same guy that wrote the previous two-parter, Black Orchid. But the reason this happens, this story, is because of a guy who ran a freelance props company named Richard Gregory, who approached John Nathan Turner because he's like, listen, I got this computer whiz, I got this software designer, the two of them put their heads together and they made a robot. But the problem is we've run out of money, so in order to improve it, we need to get this sucker on TV or something. Would you be interested in getting this thing on Doctor Who so that you can fund more research into this robot thing? So he invites John Nathan Turner down to their cybernetics place, and they show him this robot that has a body that can move kind of like a human's and mime speech, based on pre-recorded dialogue. It's essentially an animatronic that you would see in like Pirates of the Caribbean or something like that. But they're acting like it's new technology for some reason, in 1981. But John Nathan Turner is like, yeah, I think we can fuck with this. Because, he's like looking for the next K9. And so, he's like, yeah, maybe this could be something. So he's like, yeah. And if it turns out, let's test it out with a short 2-part adventure. Let's see if we can make this thing work for us. And if it's successful, maybe it can become a regular companion. And they're like, wow, great. Give us your money. And then they gave him the money, and then they start working on this robot thing, this robot that would eventually become Chameleon. So to write this story, Nathan turns to Terence Dudley, who had written For the Doomsday, Black Orchid, as well as the failed Doctor Who spin-off pilot episode K9 and Company, entitled A Girl's Best Friend.
Aww. And
he was like, yeah, let's get him, and he'll do this. He worked well with a 2-part before. But Eric Sayward fucking hates this guy. Hates him. Thinks he's a terrible writer. Thinks John Nathan Turner. He was like, okay, Chameleon, stupid, dumb idea. 2-part stories, dumb, stupid ideas. This writer, the worst writer that I've ever worked with. This episode is going to suck. You suck. Don't do this. John Nathan Turner's like, fuck you, man. And then does everything anyway. and you know what? Rightfully so. Because fuck Eric Sayward. But
And more like Eric
yeah.
C word. Have I done that before?
I don't know. So they start there. He does a formal green light to the story. And Terrence Dudley decides to resurrect an idea that he had about the TARDIS going to the England of King John, in particularly basing it around the signing of the Magna Carta. Another idea that John Nathan Turner had that Eric Sayward hated was that he was like, oh, this is the perfect opportunity to bring back the Master, who we've already prepaid him for a story this season, and you haven't let me bring him back because you hate the fucking Master. And Eric Sayward's like, yeah, I hate the fucking Master. He fucking sucks. Like, why would we? No, don't do this. And he's like, nope, he's coming back. He's like, God damn it. So like, he just didn't get anything that he wanted in this story, and probably is a big. I feel like him just getting absolutely no say in the story probably contributed greatly to the monster that Eric Sayward becomes in the Sixth Doctor era, eventually just leaving the show entirely.
This is his villain origin story.
Yeah, it's definitely feels like a villain origin story. So they bring the Master back under the alias of Sir Gilles Estram. Of course, an anagram of Master.
God damn it.
Oh, God. Boo. Son of a bitch.
and then to keep it a secret, when the Radio Times, which, you know, is a magazine in England that announces all things Doctor Who, they announced this story was coming, and they said that Sir Giles would be played by James Stoker, which is an anagram of Master's joke.
Come on.
Wait, that actor wasn't a real guy?
James Stoker is not a real actor, no.
That was the actor playing the Master in like makeup?
Yes, that's Anthony Ainley the whole time.
Wow.
Yeah.
That got me. I didn't catch that.
Okay. Yeah. No, that was really him. Yeah. Let's see. They decided, Dudley decided to save them on time because he didn't trust the robot working properly, that the robot should be a shapeshifter so that a regular actor could play the character more often than not. So that's why he came up with the name Chameleon. And everyone was really happy that he did, because shocker, the robot did not work as intended. And it threw the whole project behind. And at the same time, while they were shooting this, the union strike happened that we've been talking about this season. So that happens. And then this episode is only partially completed. Once the unions came back to work, because a deal was made, they went back and did reshoots. And by that time, the robot was working a little better, and was able to complete the scenes that it needed. And like, the chameleon robot is like barely in this. So it's crazy that like it couldn't even work that well, you know? But it's, you know, amazing piece of technology. So
that we all use to this day.
To this day, we've all got one. We've all got a chameleon in our house while doing our dishes.
God.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, chameleon prop not viable. Then sadly, so this was, you know, the chameleon prop was created by the Wonderkin, computer whiz Chris Padmore, and then the software designer Mike Power, who refused to show anyone how the software worked or how to control the robot because he liked his job and didn't want anyone to take it from him. And then he died in a boating accident, and so everyone, like, they had to like figure out how to work the robot because no one knew. So that happened. Then
was the robot present at the boating accident?
Could have been, maybe. Could have been. And so, yeah. And then, when it didn't work out very well, Nathan Turner decided that he would bring the robot back for like one more story in season 21 and then write it out of the show because he's like, this thing sucks actually. And we wasted our money on this stupid technology. And he got bamboozled. Maybe not the first, definitely not the last studio exec to be bamboozled by new tech.
Sure. Artificial intelligence with big quotation marks.
Yes, indeed. And because of the union strike, they weren't able to shoot what was previously planned as the season finale to season 20, The Return, which would have seen the return of the Daleks, and instead that story gets punted to season 21, and this story, The King's Demons, becomes the season finale, of sorts, because we still have the 5 Doctors coming, which wouldn't air until November. Obviously, this is March that this is airing in, but it's negligible if it counts as part of season 20 or if it's its own thing. But yeah, I think if you just count it as a finale, it's less weird. So anyway, that's how we get this story, The King's Demons, which is it's a shorty. It's fine, I guess. I'm glad it's not 4 episodes. I can tell you that much. What did you guys think about this one? Nick, what were your thoughts?
I mean, I feel like it barely happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I woke up this morning and I knew that it was 2 parts. And so I was like, okay, cool, sick. Get a little bit of more time to sleep in this morning. But then I was like, well, surely they're 45 minutes. And then I was like, oh wait, oh shit, they're 2 25-minute episodes.
Yep.
And sure, it was Tubi, so there was 32 ads between the 2 of them. But still, it felt so slight. And so easily the most fun I had was the episode 1 cliffhanger, because I had no idea this was a master story. So that genuinely got me, and I was delighted. But yeah, like Scott said, I'm very happy this was in 4 episodes. I can't imagine how much running back and forth there would be. Some fun historical stuff. The master tries to stop the Magna Carta from getting signed, but even he feels like this is just kind of go into the shop to be I don't need anything, but I just feel like leaving the house.
I think my biggest complaint is that the companions have nothing to do in this.
Yeah.
They're literally just there because they're contractually obligated to be there. But the doctor is just being don't do that. And that's it. That's all he kind of does in this story as well. Cass, what are your thoughts?
Well, I would like to go on record, not for the first time, to say I fucking hate Chameleon. He's my least favorite Doctor Who thing ever. And yeah, I remember liking Black Orchid because Black Orchid was fun, but this just kind of happens. And Tegan's why are we here? And I'm yeah, why are we here? I don't know. So it was fine. There's a sword fight in this. That's cool.
Kind of a slow
horses.
motion
That's
sword
cool.
fight, but a sword fight, I guess.
Yeah, it's not as good as the 3rd Doctor one, but yeah, I'm glad that this one's only 2 parts.
Yeah. I can't imagine dragging this out.
No.
Oh my God. But I do it's so funny because you can almost see where the other 2 episodes are cut out. It's if this were 4 episodes, 1 episode would be added where they arrive and everyone's like, what the fuck are those? And everyone freaks out, including the king, and then is like, we're going to kill him. And then they convince them not to kill them and in fact let him be their like advisors.
Vizier.
Yeah, but in part 2, you know, and instead they're just like, what if we just didn't do that part and just had the king be totally on board and fine with the doctor from the get go?
Because he's a robot.
The most like, I don't know, quote unquote impressive thing about this to me though is like there's still so much like running around and like companion misunderstanding, like or imprisonment, or you know, and I'm just like, why would there be like 4 episodes of this?
Yeah, no, it's true.
I read on the TARDIS wiki because I was like, what? There has to be more to this. Like, what was that? I was kind of like skimming through the TARDIS wiki, and I've heard that it is some people's opinion that this retroactively plays better as like a prelude to the 5 Doctors, as like an issue 0 of the 5 Doctors, and I haven't seen that one yet. So, like, does that hold water to either of you gentlemen?
Barely. I could see what they're saying, but I don't. It feels more like they wrote a 2-part episode and then shoehorned a few 5 Doctor references into it. To me, but I don't know if you feel differently, Cass.
No, I think it's been so long since I've seen 5 Doctors too. I honestly don't remember how much of Tegan and Turlough and 5 are in that.
I mean, it's a lot of 5. He's like the de facto main character.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see. Yeah.
Turlough in like a king's court, that should be really fun. Because he's such a schemy little cuss, but like he's kind of just like in the dungeon for like 70% of it.
Yeah, he doesn't even see the king, really.
Yeah. Like, I know the doctor is the king's demon because the master and the robot, but I think I would have been much more satisfied with Turlough being the king's demon.
Oh, that's funny.
Just because he's just so like, yeah, he's just like they're standing on the court, like after they land, they come out of the TARDIS and they're like standing there, and Turlough like you know, Tegan looks normal, the doctor looks like normal, and then you see Turlough and he's like
yeah,
just like standing next to them, like
little reptile arms up.
Yeah, he's just got like little T-Rex arms, just like casually, like like a young Mr. Burns, like standing next to the other two.
I think it makes sense that they didn't have Turlough be like conspiring against them, because like that was the whole like trilogy that preceded this. So like,
sure,
you know, he's got to kind of earn his keep as an actual companion now and not be a little shit. But
never trust him ever.
And it's like, once that is taken away from him, not that I was like the biggest Turlough fan during the Black Guardian trilogy, but like it's very quickly revealed there's not much to him once you take away him being like a schemy little weasel.
Yep. It's like,
that's fair.
Yeah, it's like turning Mr. Burns into a good guy. Like what's there? What's left?
Or like, you know, Grimo Wormtongue into just like a normal guy.
Yes.
Okay. So the plot of this.
Yeah.
So we're in March 1215. We have King John. We have like the Crusades going on. He's at this castle of this lord to kind of like extort money or he's like here to like fund his war. And the lord is like, well, you know, you've taken all my money and I have nothing more to give you. And like the king is very offended by this. So the king's champion like throws his glove and there's like a big to-do. So there's going to be like a trial by combat, basically. And the Lord's son is like standing in for his father because his father is like old.
48.
And so there's like a joust and there's a joust, and in the middle of it, the TARDIS lands. The doctor's like, "Oh, I don't know why we're here." They step out of the TARDIS, and King John's just like, "Oh, hey, like
Demons.
my demons," and everyone's like, "What?" I will say I really like King John. I think he's like chewing up the scenery. This actor, but there's some like Ren Fair adjacent stuff that happens. And the doctor kind of pieces together that, oh, the king is supposed to be in London. According to like records, he's in London, like taking his oath to like go fight in the Crusades. So like what or who or why is this person pretending to be the king? And it is revealed that the king's champion, this French knight, Sir Giles, is the master, and that's the end of part 1. Is that reveal?
We spend a lot of time on a field in this episode, which is also how we spend a lot of the Black Orchid, which I found that interesting, that this guy just loves physical activities on fields.
Yes. A sportsman.
A field day.
Yeah. Yes. He loves
the thing
day.
The thing that Black Orchid has, and this doesn't though, is like a cricket game.
Right.
And like Five's outfit looks like it, because it's like a cricket outfit, right? He's got his little tennis shoes and he's got his little, I don't know. Yeah. So but
this should be cooler because it's like jousting.
Yeah. No, it is. I don't know. It's you made me hate a historical.
Yeah.
And we're a breath away from the doctor being able to like pass himself off as a wizard, and we don't grab it.
Not enough time. But I would have liked to have seen a third 2-part story that featured like the doctor and his companion doing like potato sack races or something. Just another excuse to be in a field.
Turlo like trying to throw a medicine ball with both hands, and it only moves like an inch.
We have to tug this rope harder than the other team. Turlo.
Tegan just like lifts Turlo over her shoulder. It's like, come on, you fucking. Not losing this race because of you.
So the master is using this weird ass robot that he found on the planet he was stranded on last time we saw him. And he's using the robot to discredit King John, I guess, and like his plan is to like make sure the Magna Carta doesn't get signed so that democracy doesn't exist in the future, and then like he's gonna like take over the universe that way, which is very silly. And there's a lot of running around, but ultimately it doesn't matter because like the master's like manipulating people, and then like the doctor, like people aren't listening to the doctor. And the robot is like telepathically controlled or like manipulated. So like there's this really funny sequence where the doctor is in profile on one side of the screen and the master is in profile on the other side of the screen, and it just kind of like blinks back and forth between them as they stare intently at each other.
It really looks like something that a band would use as like, you know, on mute on a projector behind them.
Yes.
You know, like while they're playing.
While the like robot sparkles between I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like but ultimately the Doctor wins and he like turns the robot into Tegan. He like yanks the robot Tegan onto the TARDIS, and then Tegan's like, "Wait, what's going on?" And he's just like, "Doesn't matter, get in." So like Tegan and Turlough and the Doctor just leave. And then it just ends very abruptly.
Yeah, I was like, wait, they didn't stop him. And then that's why I went on the TARDIS wiki, and I'm like, wait, they didn't stop the Master. And the way the TARDIS wiki describes it is because the Master doesn't have the chameleon anymore to pretend to be King John, his plan is just thwarted. But like, everyone in that room still trusts the Master.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They still think King John has been acting really weird. And now the Master is there to like manipulate what they just saw in any way he sees fit. So I don't really get how they stopped him, besides just he doesn't have chameleon anymore.
I mean, he's in the 5 Doctors, right? So
Yeah. He must be.
yeah, he just gets sucked into that, I guess. I don't know. But it's probably why people say it's better to just watch as like a issue 0 to the 5 Doctors or whatever. Also, okay, so am I remembering this correctly? Because like after like the 6th time that the king is like, let's kill this person, and the Doctor's like, as your demon, I would say maybe we do not do that. After like the 6th time that happens, I started to like in 2 episodes, I started to like glaze over.
Yeah.
But like, correct me if I'm wrong. So after the Master reveal, they're gonna put him in an Iron Maiden.
Yes.
To kill him, and the Doctor's like, don't do it, and he's like, I think I will actually, and then he does, and it turns out the Iron Maiden is just the Master's TARDIS.
The TARDIS, yeah.
That fucking rips. That's one of the most metal things ever.
Because the Master was like, no, don't put me in the Iron Maiden. No, Doctor, help me, save me. And the Doctor's like, no, he's my boyfriend sometimes. And
yeah.
And then it's like, oh, it was all a show. And then the Master's like, it was my TARDIS all along, you fucking asshole.
That is, I don't think the Master's TARDIS has ever been more metal than being entered as an Iron Maiden.
Yes.
Like, that rips. That's something that Tim Burton's Batman does to get into the Batcave at a certain point.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. It is Iron Maiden that turns into a slide. And then he
kind of a
slides
TARDIS
on down to the Batcave.
God.
Yeah.
Now I wish that like there was a slide and Anthony Alien was like, wee.
Like Yzma
I
in
would
Emperor's New
love
Groove.
to see Anthony Anley on a slide. Any slide. Water slide, playground slide. Anything.
God.
So anyway.
I really big missed opportunity not having like I really could have used like in Shutigatwa and Millie Gibson in like Renaissance fair costumes during their season, you know, like Millie Gibson wearing like the Maid Marian like cone hat.
Sure. Oh, there's still time. I'm sure she'll be back.
Yeah, sure. She's in that trailer.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, so that's that. This one's going to be a shorty, you know.
Yes.
It happens when you only have 2 episodes to talk about there where nothing really happens. Though I do have questions about like, you trapped me on that planet, Doctor. I was like, no, we didn't. You had your TARDIS. Like, like, what are we complaining about here? Like, clearly you had your TARDIS. You got a robot out of the deal. Like, what's the problem? What are you complaining about? Everything's coming up Master is what I'm seeing.
Right. How much time passed?
I don't know.
Between, or, you know, terrestrially, like for the show.
Oh, like a year since the last time. Yeah. Was the last time?
Yeah, because that was Time Flight?
Yeah, I think Time Flight was the last time we saw the Master.
Ooh. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So our next fiver is going to be the 5 doctors.
Yes,
Mhm.
indeed. So we'll circle back on that next season on the long way around. But next week we're talking Big Finish again with the 6th Doctor, Evelyn, and the Spectre of Lanyon Moore guest
Yeah.
starring the Brigadier.
We got Briggs. We got feral pixies.
That's
Yep.
true. That is true. So all that is coming up next week on The Doctor's Companion. Thanks for listening, everybody, and we'll talk to you then. Goodbye.